Thursday morning, and some guests joining us this morning. Good morning, guys. How are you?
Morning,
Luke.
Wow, where do we start here? Of course, we should probably introduce everybody. Marilyn, would you like to introduce the fellas you brought in today?
Sure. I'm Marilyn Marsh. I'm Donor Services Coordinator for the Greater Titusville Development Foundation. Down here at the far left is Larry Flutterman. He is our president, and Terry Funk, our vice president.
All right. Good morning, guys. Good to see you. You guys have been on before representing the Greater Titusville Development Foundation. What's going on today?
Well, pretty exciting news, Luke. I think, as you probably know, we started a program about this time last year, for the downtown Facade program, downtown Titusville Facade program, and had some pretty good success with that. I think everybody's probably seen the pictures, the before and after, which are pretty neat. And so today we're actually going to announce round two.
Round two of this program. This is pretty cool because you mentioned the first round was a success, and I think that's probably being mild. It was very successful, and that sort of led into some excitement and some growth into maybe some more money for the second round, right?
Well, exactly. We had in the first round, we actually had an individual who came to the foundation, and he wanted to improve the downtown, the look of the downtown, and pledged some money toward that, and we were able to use that for the first round. And since that time, we've had, I think, 4 donors this time, Marilyn?
Mm-hmm. 3 additional, and the initial donor is participating again. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so actually we've taken the original money and we kind of quintupled it, or whatever you call it, five times more this time. So I think we're hoping, that we were talking yesterday, that maybe the total in the program will be close to $50,000 this time. 25 from the foundation, 25 from individuals. Yeah. I mean, the business owners.
And this is something that money isn't being spent, and you don't see what happens with it. I mean, this is the Facade program, so this is something that everybody's going to have a chance to see, the improvements downtown.
Yeah, I think that's, Luke, I think that's the greatest thing about it, is that it is something that's out front and people drive by every day and can see the improvements. And a lot of times, you know how that is, it kind of starts momentum. When you're improving one area, a lot of times people look to the left and right and say, well, gee, maybe we should get involved in this and maybe we can do something a little better.
You mentioned the before and after. Here's a sample. Of course, this is something that everybody's been talking about, this South Franklin Street property, Carpenter's Corners. What a difference. Yeah. What a difference. That is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even some of the windows on there, Luke, I didn't realize it until Mary Lynn pointed out to it, but just above the storefront or where the awning would be, those were all redone too. So it really looks nice.
It does. Nice. And that's a spot that a lot of people see.
And since I've retired, I do a lot of traveling, Luke, and first impression when you go through a town someplace, that's what gets you the
everything.
Most. If you want to, if you're thinking about stopping to get something to eat, if you go through a place that looks pretty bad, you're not going to stop. But,
right.
I think what we're trying to do with the downtown here, hopefully those folks that, come through town will stop and visit those businesses and give them some business, that sort of thing.
It's also nice. You just had the holidays, so you had a lot of folks come back to town, and I even heard comments about, wow, that looks great downtown. That looks beautiful. Did they just paint that, or what'd they do to it?
Yeah.
So
and the other thing I want to say too, real quick, is that our staff at the foundation, Mary Lynn in particular, but she's been going around to the downtown business owners and the owners of the buildings themselves, and she's got a lot of folks that are interested in this Facade program.
Now, this is kind of exciting because it's not a loan, right? It's a grant, right?
It is a grant, right. Yeah. Because previously, I think under Renaissance and TIFI, Titusville Industrial Fund, those monies that they made available to do the same type of thing, it was a loan. And we had no success whatsoever because who wants to borrow money to do that, you know? But like this is nice because we will match dollar for dollar up to $5,000 on a project.
That's fantastic. And not to say anything against the business owners, but a lot of times, business is tough.
It is,
and you don't have that extra buck to make improvements, even though you would like to. sometimes it's just hard to get the money. So this is a great opportunity for somebody to get some money to improve the look of their building and hopefully drive in more business.
Right.
Right. And we were really pleasantly surprised with the response to the first round. We started with a relatively small pot of money, and we didn't know how much interest there would be because there hadn't been any participation in previous years, and we were overwhelmed with interest. And there were some people that came in close to the deadline that had not heard about it until later, and so they weren't prepared with their estimates and the things that they needed. So we have those people now that are queued up and ready to go for this round.
Oh, that's exciting. So then who is eligible to request money?
Anyone who owns a business, a storefront in downtown Titusville, or if they're not the and if they are not the owner, then if they get permission through the owner to do the improvements, they would qualify also.
Okay, and we're talking just exterior work, correct?
Just
Right.
exterior work, correct.
I think one of the nice things too, Luke, is that Mary Lynn's put together a seminar and is actually going to help business owners that are interested in applying for the grant kind of walk them through it too, so they need not be fearful of forms or things like that. She'll walk them right through the process, walk them right through the paperwork, and get them to where they want to be.
When's that coming up?
That'll be Thursday, February 4th, 4:30 p.m. till about 6 at the Northwest Savings Bank in the community room in the basement.
Okay, so folks can just call the offices and schedule, I guess, themselves, or can they bring somebody else with them that might have an interest?
Sure, anyone who's interested can come, and we'll have the application forms there, the guidelines. Like Terry said, we'll walk them through the application. It's a pretty simple process, but we want to make sure they have the information that they need to submit a good application. We want people to apply and to be
Right.
successful, and to start talking about the projects. One important thing will be for people to talk to us in advance to make sure that what they have in mind is within the guidelines of what we're prepared to do.
So does that mean that they should come with some basic understanding of, costs of what they'd like to do, or do they come to this and learn what you guys are offering and then, get the estimates that they're going to need?
Well, the more they know before they come, the better we'll be able to answer their questions and help them get their application together. But anyone who's interested can come, and we'll start. The key thing for this will be to get contractors to come and give them estimates. One thing that we learned in the summertime, we announced in June, and the deadline for the applications was the end of July, and we heard from a lot of applicants that they were having difficulty getting contractors to come out and give them estimates because that was their busy season. So we're hopeful that during the winter time, when things are a little bit slower, and also with some more lead time, people will be able to get all that in order in time to apply.
Do you guys have a list of vendors you recommend, contractors, painters, or is it up to the owners to kind of manage that or figure that out?
We don't have a list per se, but if someone needs some guidance and recommendations, we can help them with that.
Because I know I hear that a lot. Who would you recommend, or who does this or who does that? And I guess that might lead into the other question: what does the grant actually cover?
Do you guys want me to answer that?
Yeah,
Sure.
go ahead. She's the best one to answer that.
That was not a yes or no answer.
I'm sorry about that. Would you like her to answer the question?
Please.
We're going to push that one this way.
Well, we can talk about a lot of different things, but there's a set of printed guidelines that are available on our website on the Facade page that people can look at, and we will also have those available at the workshop. But basically, we're looking at exterior improvements, things that will either restore or update the historical character of downtown buildings. So we're talking about paint, awnings, architectural features, that type of thing.
So stuff like new construction or paving, that's not...
Paving, no. Sidewalks, if it's in conjunction with a facade project.
Okay.
Windows, exterior signs, that type of thing.
Now, the city's been talking about trying to create historical guidelines. Is that a good thing? Would this program benefit from something like that, or is that something that business owners have a generally good sense of what needs done? I mean, if somebody owns a historic property,
Right.
how do they know what to do to maintain that historic look, or can they go ahead and alter it?
Well, we don't have a HARB right now, so there really aren't any strict guidelines that they need to adhere to. With our program, we do have a set of guidelines, and we use the Secretary of Interior standards, again, as a guideline. So it makes recommendations about what to do. If and when a HARB is set in place, of course, we would work with them and adhere to whatever they recommend.
Okay, but right now, I mean, if somebody's got a historic building, I mean, obviously the concern would be maintaining that certain look. So you guys would be working with the business owners to a degree to help facilitate that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I think that's one of the blessings is we've got great architecture in town. We really do, and we want to keep that great architecture, promote that great architecture, and just make it look a little better maybe on the outside.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the workshop is so very important too here, because again, the typical store owner or whatever may not know some of those answers or whatever, and we can at least research that stuff and get it back to them.
Yeah.
The other thing I'd like to say too is, Luke, you're kind of on a pretty strict timeline with the project. I mean, this isn't a thing where it's approved and they dilly-dally around for 6 months to get something done. I mean, they have to be done by June, I believe, right?
June 1st.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you have the February 4th, you have her workshop. I think they have to have the applications in by March the 4th, I believe. And then it goes to the foundation board. We do our approvals, and then we give the store owner, business operator, the go-ahead. But they have to have that done by the 1st of June.
Mm-hmm.
So when they submit that March 4th, then there's really not a whole lot of waiting around to see if they're going to receive the money. It's pretty quick whether they know if they're going to get it or not.
That's correct.
And once they get it, hopefully it moves pretty quickly so that by summer people can walk around and say, wow, there's another project that's been done.
Yeah. And again, that great time to have that done. You've got a lot of folks coming into town for festivals and gatherings and chance to show off the town. So the application itself, they can find that online. Can they stop by and pick it up and ask you guys questions? Can they pick it up on February the 4th? How does that work?
Yes.
All the above.
All the above. All of the
Just
above. Get it.
D,
Fill
all
it
of
out.
the above.
D, all of the above. Get it and fill it out. And again, you mentioned some of these important dates. February 4th, 4 to 6, and that's going to be held at Northwest Savings Bank in the community room. Applications are due by March 4th by noon. So get those in. And then awards will be announced March 31st. And then from, I guess, between that point and June the 1st roughly, projects will be started and completed.
Again, because the whole idea, Luke, is, I mean, it's not going to end here. I
Right.
mean, we know that there are, this round here, even if we come up with the 50,000 total, 25 foundation and 25 the business owner, that's not going to get the job done in downtown Titusville. I mean, we're hoping that this facade program continues on and on, and the fact that we went from one donor up to 4 or 5.
That's incredible.
We're just hoping that kind of continues that rhythm,
The other great thing is with the June 1st deadline, we could still possibly get more buildings done in the fall. And it gives us kind of a window of opportunity to have 2 separate projects going on and back to back, so we could by next winter even show more projects being done.
Isn't it amazing just showing before and after? People just get excited by that.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably an easier sell to somebody who might be interested in donating money to this foundation, to say, look, here's what it looked like. This is what we've done because of what you were able to do and help donate.
I think it speaks a lot that people have actually approached the foundation. We haven't had to go out and kind of find the
Right.
donors have come to us, and that's really terrific. And certainly hopefully there's more donors out there that will see these projects and say, wow, that's a great thing, and I'd like to be involved in it as well.
What's next after this? What's going on with the foundation? It sounds like a lot of excitement.
Well, we've a lot of things out there we'd like to do. I think one project that we're kind of interested in working with the city is the parks. We'd like to update the Burgess and Roberts Grove for 2, I guess.
And Fleming Park.
And Fleming, that's right. Well, that one's going on too. But so yes, and then again, the whole idea with the foundation is that we're trying to marry private money with public money and make these things happen, because we all know it's a struggle out there. There just isn't a lot of free money around. So
Right.
So we're always looking for donors to come through and we can put their their donation to good use.
And the same approach, donors can contact the foundation and begin that conversation with what they can do with their money, or is there an application, or how does that part work?
Yeah, there's a form that we have that, in fact, we've gone around to most of the attorneys in town, the CPAs in town, the financial advisors in town. I mean, they're all aware of what we're attempting to do, and they all actually have the form that they could pass on to their clients or whatever to do that.
All right.
And as a 501c3, I mean, it is a tax-deductible donation. Mm-hmm. And again, that money stays in the community, in the greater Titusville community.
That's
and
great.
it can start as simple as a conversation. If someone has an idea that they'd like to put some money behind, just talk to us about it, and we'll go from there.
And people can designate where they want their gift to go, too, Luke, and how they'd like their gift used.
And again, that's just a simple conversation with you guys at the foundation, and
any of our board members, or they can call the office.
all right, guys. What's the contact information, Marilyn? Why don't you go ahead and give us contact information, phone number, website?
Phone number 814-564-0406. The website is titusvillefoundation.org. We also have a Facebook page now, Greater Titusville Development Foundation. You can just look for it on there and like us and follow updates there. And email info@titusvillefoundation.org.
Excellent, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Luke.
Keep us
Thanks
posted
for
on what's
having
going
us.
on.
Thanks,
and
Luke.
get those applications filled out.
Great.
Make your business look fantastic by summer. Looking forward to it. Good work, guys. Nice job.
Thanks.
All right, final look at news coming up next. This is the Morning Drill on Stream Television and the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network.